Welcome back to Ray University 302, the Harlem Renaissance. Black modernism, culture, capitalism, and double consciousness. And we have not said that in a while, but we are in our capstone lecture. And at some point during every discussion around the Harlem Renaissance, the same question appears: when did it end? But that assumes that cultural movements end cleanly and neatly like trends do. So today we're asking a better question. Did the Harlem Renaissance actually end? Spoiler alert, it didn't. Most textbooks mark the early 1930s as the movement's end, citing the Great Depression, the collapse of Harlem's nightlife economy, rising unemployment, and the dispersal of artists. Clubs closed, publishers folded, and disposable income disappeared. For many artists, culture could no longer sustain a livelihood. This is where the story often stops, with an implication of failure. But collapse is not disappearance. We don't have to speculate about what happened. We've seen it through the lives of the artists that we studied. Zora Neale Hurston lost patronage as taste shifted and faded from public memory before later recovery efforts discovered her work. Langston Hughes adapted and survived, renting visible, but never fully financially secure. Bessie Smith built her success through Black audiences, yet remained trapped within white-controlled recording and touring structures she did not own. Claude McKay's increasingly radical politics made him threatening, and he was surveilled, displaced, and pushed to the margins. Counting Cullen was celebrated while Black art was fashionable, then quietly sidelined when institutional priorities shifted. Duke Ellington was a rare case. He maneuvered within white institutions and emerged with a preserved legacy and lasting stability. These were not personal failures, they were structural outcomes. And what ended was not Black creativity. What ended was tolerance, funding, and institutional protection. When the cultural economy collapsed, artists adapted. Some became teachers, journalists, organizers, or government workers. Some entered universities, some joined labor movements, some disappeared from the archive entirely. During the Great Depression, New Deal programs like the Federal Writers Project unintentionally preserved elements of the Harlem Renaissance culture by funding documentation of folklore and oral histories. But this was not a luxury. This was survival labor, and Black artists still faced discrimination within these programs. The Harlem Renaissance didn't vanish, it transformed under pressure. Today, the Harlem Renaissance is often remembered as glamorous, jazzy, and optimistic. What often gets softened is the economic collapse, queerness, exploitation, policing, and class conflict. Why? Because a safe Harlem Renaissance celebrates creativity without challenging power. It sells culture without naming extraction. It inspires without demanding accountability. Freezing the Renaissance in the 1920s, aesthetically vibrant but politically unfinished, allows institutions to avoid confronting what came next: economic vulnerability, collapsing patronage, and disillusionment with respectability as a path to freedom. A sanitized ending turns critique into nostalgia and reduces survival to a footnote. The Harlem Renaissance did not fail, it evolved. Like the European Renaissance before it, it transformed